Nothing could have prepared ARMY's heart for what had just happened. There are no words, no warnings, no hidden codes behind BTS's Instagram V uploads that they have approached with suspicion and curiosity. But today, among the rush of time that goes on as usual, the world is like being hit by a news that comes in just 3 minutes. 3 minutes that change everything. 3 minutes that make the entire fandom around the world choke, cry. Not a few even admit to fainting from severe shock. Kim Taehyung, better known as V, is no stranger to global entertainment. He is the subtle voice behind the mournful melody. He is the face that adorns millions of posters, calendars, merchandise, and mobile phone screens of his fans. It is a living dream for many young people, a symbol of sincerity, serenity, and sometimes a mystery that can never be fully read. Today, however, it all seems to be cracked because of just one sentence. Softly spoken, yet clearly recorded. Sentences were uttered with a blank look that no one had ever seen before. I'm tired, and maybe I have to go further than you think. The phrase was not delivered on a big concert stage, nor in an exclusive interview with Korean or international media. The sentence appeared in a short live, only lasting 3 minutes 21 seconds, performed from his dorm room, which now no longer shows the characteristics of an idol. The walls were empty, without posters, without piles of fan gifts. There was only one guitar in the corner of the room and an open suitcase, as if being prepared for a long journey. Life began as usual. He sits in front of the camera, wearing a shabby hoodie that isn't even a luxury brand as usual. No filters, no background music, only the sound of raindrops from outside the open window. He stared at the camera for a long time before finally saying, "I don't know why I turned this on. Maybe it's because I can't stand DM." Second by second walked, and her tears began to wane. No dramatic expressions. That's exactly what makes it more painful. As if all this is real. As if this is the real Taehyung, not an idol, not AV, not a star. Only a young man was injured. And in less than 3 minutes, he confessed everything, that all this time he felt constrained. That his solo work, Layover, which was supposed to be the most personal manifestation of his soul, was instead treated like a side project by his own agency. That he had asked many times to be given greater artistic freedom, but was refused. That there are songs that he created and recorded that were never released because they were considered not in accordance with the company's image. And then he lowered his head. His breath was short. Maybe. I'm not part of them anymore. Maybe. I can't keep pretending that everything is okay. The live ended abruptly. No explanation. There is no clarification. Only emptiness echoed in the spaces of the watching ARMY's hearts. Some fans immediately opened Twitter, now X, and the hashtag #ProtectTaehyung dominated the global trend in a matter of minutes. On Weverse, thousands of comments flooded into V's last post, which contained only a photo of the night view from the window, with a one-word caption, "Far away." Netizens also speculated, does this mean V will be on hiatus? Is he out of HYB? Will he return to the stage with BTS? Nobody knows. And maybe that's what hurts the most. This uncertainty is sharper than obvious bad news. Because within doubt, there is always room for hope, and also for disappointment. But the real storm is yet to come. A few hours after the live was broadcast, the media began to stir. Dispatch, which has been known to have deep access to Idol's personal life, released an exclusive report that muddied things up. In the report, it was stated that BTS had filed a letter of resignation from managerial activities under HYB labels since 2 months ago. The letter, according to an internal one, had been quietly projected by the agency's top brass on the grounds of the situation that is not yet possible. Furthermore, Dispatch claims that over the past year, V has experienced internal pressure within the agency, especially after the release of the Layover. Although the album garnered an overwhelming response from fans and charted internationally within the first week of release, HYB was called not enthusiastically received. In a leaked internal document, there is a sentence from one of the senior managers who called the Layover as an overly personal and less commercial product. Those words struck many people's ears. For ARMY, Layover is an album that represents V's maturity, a leap from idol image to true artist. His songs are poems of life. His MV is a short film full of meaning. But for the agency, apparently all of that is considered not selling. And from there, the wound started bleeding again. Public anger is also rising. In a short time, HYB was subjected to massive criticism. The hashtag Justice for V began to appear, accompanied by calls for a boycott of official merchandise and promotional activities of the agency. In South Korea, KBS's morning music show read the news about the furor, and one journalist even called it the biggest crisis of trust between agency and fandom in K-pop history. But in the midst of all the chaos, V remained silent. It doesn't appear on social media. He did not respond to fan comments. He didn't post anything. Just a sketchy story at 3 a.m. the next day, a black background, with a simple white caption, "I need some time." Time. Two words that sound simple, but in this context feel like prayer and mourning at the same time. For many soldiers, it was torture. They don't know what to expect, how long to wait, or whether the wait will end happily. The world is quieter without V. His smile, his laugh, even his little live jokes that they used to take for granted, all of them are now memories that suddenly feel very meaningful. In the online community, many fans are sharing stories about how the voice of V in the song Love Me Again saved them from dark nights, about how the expression of his eyes in the rainy days MV makes them feel understandable. There was even an army man in Japan who wrote a 3,000-word open letter to Taehyung, revealing that he aborted his suicidal intentions after seeing a painting made by V in one of his secret art exhibitions in Seoul. Now, everything is hanging. V's solo concert, which was planned to be held this year, was rumored to be cancelled. Sponsors began to withdraw. Some brands even chose to remove ads featuring V's face, citing the situation is not yet conducive. The entertainment world shows its darkest side. It quickly changes direction, it easily forgets. But the army does not. They stay there. Fill in the comments with words of encouragement. Organizing daily trending. Sending an LED truck to the front of the HYB building with a big message, "We exist for V, not for the system that hurt him." They even started raising money to make a Times Square ad to voice solidarity. For them, it's not just about an idol. It's about justice. About unconditional love. Here's the third part of the emotional and in-depth narrative article. Just 3 minutes ago, ARMY cried hearing this news about BTS's V. Time goes on, but the anxiety never subsides. Every hour that passes without news from V feels like a century. The fans, who usually greet the morning with enthusiasm and posts full of love, are now just staring at a blank screen, waiting for signs of life from the figure they have loved for years. For some ARMY, this is a more painful wound than when BTS announced the group's hiatus. This time, the pain was personal. It feels like they are losing a part of the soul that has been growing with them. And in the midst of all that silence, there was news from an unexpected source. A former HYB staffer who had been out of the industry for a long time posted a long thread on X, Twitter, telling how V had been struggling alone behind the stage of Splendor. He wrote about the days when V came into the studio without an official schedule, only to touch the piano and cry alone. About how V brought small paintings into the office, hoping that someone would care enough to show them off, but only got a cynical look. They never understood that V was an artist, not just an idol, she wrote.